Hello, what's up? We're just crashing straight into it. Today we're going to talk about Battlefield 2042 and the patch 2.2.0, which includes the new Orbital, new weapons, and a lot of stuff. And we're also going to check out the future a little bit with the core feedback group and all that, and they have been looking at the specialist even more. They said before that they are looking into changing it into classes. I said that's not a big change. There is a little bit more restriction, but it's not a huge change, yeah? But the new thing that they present today, that's a bit more. And we are going to have a look at it. But first, let's check out the patch 2.2.0. As you see here, it's the reworked version of Orbital. And it's supposed to improve the game flow, more cover, yada yada. People have been complaining about the cover thing ever since the start. So it's a good thing to have it. I'm positively excited, but you shouldn't get too high expectations, but still. They also added 3 new vault weapons, and they have the ACVR, the AKS-74U, and the MP412 Rex. I know for sure that the last one, the revolver, not going to unlock it today because I absolutely hate the M44 that you need to use for it. It was superb in the beta and it was trash ever since. Premium battle pass holders, they have the option to keep the servers visible in server browser. I think that's fair enough. I mean, it costs to have a server up. That's a fact. So I think that's fair enough. On the other hand, I mean, if I create my little trying server thingy, then of course I shouldn't use that because then we are kind of using resources that's not necessary. Laser sight behavior on weaponry has received improved visuals and is now more fluid and reactive for movement. I mean, the laser has been really wonky. I mean, it's been beside the weapon. Sometimes you have 2 lasers and all that. It doesn't really matter. I don't use the laser itself. I use the effect of it, but it should look better at least. I really hope it does. Oh, the laser is actually looking good when I start to run now.
Yeah, they fixed that, as they said, and I'll admit I haven't seen any issues with it.
Yeah,
I need to have someone flown with it.
The actual
I should have to think about it.
Have you seen the actual beam itself? It looks a little bit more like a smoke coming through laser. It actually looks, and you can't basically see it outside.
No, but yeah, I see what you mean. Yes, it more looks like there are things in the air. Yeah, but that's fine. Give me a revolver kit.
Oh, the laser is actually broken. I mean, it's a lot of text about this, some persistent server stuff. I mean, persistent server means that if you have a server and you have a lot of activity, you open it up in Portal, and you do some cool stuff and you get people playing. To keep it alive, I mean, to keep the community going and stuff, it can actually stay alive even if you're not playing on it, even if no one is playing on it. So the next day, people can find it again. The vault weapons, they have the ACVR from Battlefield 3, and it's an assault rifle. Let's be a little bit more silent, shall we? Okay, so the next one is AKS-47, and that's Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. I suppose that's actually an assault rifle as well, yeah? And finally you have this little piece, and you see, to get it you have to have 60 kills and assists with the M44. The M44 is absolutely bleh. It's so bad. It's really bad. It's horrible. Alright, the in-game block plays list now update real time, some blah blah blah, squad VoIP UI, yada yada. There's a lot of things here that they fix as usual. These things are it will feel a bit more polished, and that's a good thing entirely, but it's not like a huge change. There's a long list here. I'm not going to read it all. I just don't. I mean, no. I don't have the patience to do it. Not right now. I'm a little bit in too much of a hurry. So, but let's have a look at the core feedback, yeah? So this to the right is the new updated version, and to the left you can see the one that they made after previous talks. And if you look really carefully, you see that there are a couple of changes here, or actually 2. So the biggest change is that, for one, we've added Charlie. The weirdest change is that today he's considered a support. He can revive players. And he has the Vulcan, this like a big machine gun he can deploy. So he should be up here, right? If you look here, he's not. He's down here. And up here, you have Irish instead. And that makes no sense as they work today. But let's have a look, and I'm going to explain a little bit here. So, class identity. They had this set up a little bit before, but the change is that they have decided to describe the class. What makes this, for instance, what makes an assault, so to say. And if we look down here, we can see that the engineer, yeah, that's the list on those. The engineer class is centered around aiding and fighting vehicles. And they have moved Charlie down here for whatever reason. Liz is kind of obvious. I mean, it's very obvious. Boris is not really obvious today, but I suppose he... well, I suppose if he brings a hammer, he can be like Torb in Overwatch. And then we have Charlie that makes absolutely no sense today because he's reviving people. So my guess is that they are going to change his ability. He's not going to revive people in the future, but I'm not sure. I mean, this is also just a suggestion, right? If we look at the recon, I think all these kind of make sense if you think it's mostly for spotting and targeting. Obviously, Boris' turret could be there as well because it does spot and so on. But again, I think that they maybe... We're going to separate this a little bit. If we look at the support, yeah, then we have Irish up here. And support is supposed to support health, revives and ammo to ensure teammates can stay active in the fight. So I suppose in one way, the Irish boxes can be considered support. But he has the very distinct difference that he can't revive and those two can. And then we have assault. Anti-infantry frontline fighter. I actually had to Google that because it felt like DICE just made a new word. They haven't. I mean, anti-infantry is used in some other games like Total War and so on. It's used on some other websites and stuff. Anti-infantry isn't a very common word as far as I know. Usually you would say anti-personnel. You have anti-vehicle, you have anti-tank if you're a little bit more specific, you have anti-air, you have all those anti, but normally you would say anti-personnel. You wouldn't say anti-infantry because that would be a little bit weird. Then also, I mean, frontline fighter. So you mean that they are no specialists anymore, they're just... infantry, right? If you would be a specialist, you would be behind enemy lines perhaps, or even anything. Anyway, so they at least describe assault or specialized as fighting infantry and shine on the front lines of combat. I mean, it's a little bit cringe. It is. Anyway, let's allow it, shall we? So, they actually go a little bit into the Charlie and they say that they notice it's a little bit conflicting gameplay, yeah? And it's offensively by using his mounted Vulcan and by revive our players. I would say that the Vulcan does shine when you do defense, not offense. But, okay, I get what they mean. There is definitely a split here because people that play Charlie can't revive. They are, I mean, it's like, oh, I play Charlie and everything that you would even think about reviving and stuff just goes whoosh, back out of the window. Yeah, so they're actually repurposing him. And of course, I mean, Irish is helping infantry. That makes perfectly sense. I would say that they are fairly efficient to a degree, but against vehicles as well. But sure, they are mostly infantry. No one can deny that. But to be a support, I still think he would need to be able to revive. And if he has both Irish boxes and everything, And he can revive. He's going to be super strong. So I'm not really... I'm very interested in how they're going to make this work. So Crawford Charlie gains the repair tool, and Irish gets the defibrillator as class equipment. Ah, yeah, so they... Okay, yeah, okay. Still interested in seeing it work, though. I think Irish is going to be super effective once we get this in place. All right, so I'm not going to dwell about this anymore.